Your lessons with Blue Diamond and earthly culture have begun. For the first few days, you started off small with introducing Blue to history books, then bumping it up to touring around Beach City, and showing Blue the various sites, like the amusement park and the library. While she wasn't too enthralled with the idea of having to be around so many humans at once, Blue appreciated that the people of Beach City were already accepting the presence of gems and allowed the two of you to observe them and their behavior. However, despite this, she still hadn't a clue about much. After all, Beach City and its residents were only a speck compared to the rest of the world, and it can only do so much for you in terms of teaching Blue Diamond about Earth and humanity. Books could do some good, but you as a human knew firsthand that you can't learn about the world and expect to get by with what you've only learned in books. So, after about a month of this endeavor, you decided to take Blue outside of Beach City. You took her far away enough that you could show her what the rest of the world was like in comparison to your small oceanside hometown without having to leave the country. At dusk you set off with her, hiking a good ways outside of town, before Blue insisted on taking a warp pad to your destination instead, wanting to preserve your health and stamina for when you arrived. Pardon my laughter, human. I just found your reaction to using a warp pad amusing. Of how something so common to us gems would appear so fascinating and wondrous in the eyes of a mere human. It just reminded me so much of... Never mind. Let us embark, human. Lead the way to our destination. You felt sweat trickle down your forehead as you turned to the giantess and told her you didn't exactly have a real destination in mind. Her expression turned from amusement and curiosity to appalled confusement. You don't even know where we're going. But how will we know when we've arrived, human, if you haven't a clue of where we're going? You smile, telling her that was the point. You explained that this is what you would do whenever you were feeling down or bored. You'd just pack up a bag and go on a hike to wherever, simply letting your heart be your guide to your destination. Blue's face held its confused grimace, before she finally relaxed, sighing in defeat. I can't say I understand, but you organics always have a certain sense when it comes to these things, so I would place my trust in you that you know what you are doing, human. Let's continue. The two of you walked together in silence as you head further into the heavily forested path towards an unknown destination. You spare a few glances in the Blue Gem's direction, seeing her observing all the greenery around you, faintly illuminated by the dim moonlight. Oh, the sky is so clear tonight. You can see Homewood's galaxy from here. Her voice suddenly breaks the silence as her words direct your attention to the sky above your heads. Without taking your eyes off the stars, you ask Blue where Homeworld was. She raises an arm up and points at a small cluster of stars. Yes, if you look right there, you can see it. Next to the constellations, as you humans call them, that you refer to as Andromeda and Perseus. Even from here, it's as clear as the midnight sky. You were amazed that she could tell exactly where her home was from so far away. But then again, she knew these stars better than any human did. She was a literal space dictator, after all. Gulping, you tried to keep the conversation going, commenting on how pretty the night sky looked. Yes, I suppose the night sky is lovely. It's odd, though. I see the sky every day, as do you humans. Yet to you humans it still remains as wondrous as the day you first laid eyes on it. I wonder why. That was something you could agree with her on. How was it that something that you would look at every single day never stopped being so mesmerizing? Thinking it over, you simply shrug at her. It's just one of those human things. Some things are just too amazing, too captivating, not to find beautiful every time you look at them. You say, meeting her gaze. A soft smile graces her lips as she lets out a chuckle. That is true as well, human. I suppose it's true that one can still find beauty and adoration in something no matter how many times they've seen it. I bet that's how Pink felt with this planet when she came here. I had believed so many times before that once she set her mind to properly managing her colony, that she would forget about her strange attachment to this planet and its creatures. It still amazes me even now just how much she loved this planet. How dedicated she was to protecting it. Silence falls upon you two once more as you continue deeper into the woods. Soon enough, you catch the sounds of crickets and birds echoing in the night around you both, the sound catching Blue's attention. How curious. What strange sounds? Tell me, human, whatever are those lovely little noises? You simply state that they are birds and crickets, forgetting for a split second her lack of knowledge on such things. Birds. Those are those little winged creatures that roam the skies and live in the tall vegetation you call trees, yes? And a cricket. That's an insect, isn't it? How peculiar. I did not know such creatures could be capable of making little melodies such as that. I had always assumed that humans were the most competent of organic life forms on Earth. The only ones intelligent enough to create such lovely little sounds. You couldn't help but laugh a little at her genuine interest and confusion with the topic. But quickly the words you were going to say were caught in your throat. You and Blue had reached a clearing in the forest, where the moon was shining down perfectly between a nice gap in the trees. The light seemingly bounced off a stream lining the clearing, creating a beautiful, twilight glow that touched all in its wake. Blue was just as amazed with the sight as you were. Oh my stars. This is so breathtaking. I had no idea such a sight existed on this planet. I don't have the words to describe it, just... It's so beautiful. This planet truly has its wonders in the oddest of places. You turned your head to Blue. You could literally see the stars in her eyes, as she marveled at everything around you. Yep, this was your destination. You moved to sit down on the plush patch of grass, gesturing for Blue to follow you. She hesitated for a moment, before relenting and joining you on the ground. For a moment you marveled at just how tall she was compared to you even when she was sitting down. Stars. This is so... different. I could have never seen myself doing something like this. This was more like something Pink would do. And I would be trying to stop her for the sake of preserving her reputation amongst her subjects. But I think I can finally see the appeal. The relaxing breeze, the scent of dew and earth, and the view from sitting right here is just... I almost feel like Pink. And the sounds. The organic life here altogether makes such lovely sounds. Like a symphony in the night. It almost feels like the earth is trying to sing. You paused for a moment. A dash of confusion sprinkled its way into your mind. It just occurred to you that Blue knew what music was. She knew what melodies and sounds and symphonies were. You couldn't help but be amazed that they had music on Homeworld? You had figured that an alien race, with a backstory as grim-sounding as Blue made it out to be, wouldn't know the first thing about music if they hadn't a clue about individuality until very recently. You ended up blurting out the question of, you actually know what music is? Before you could even think to stop yourself. But of course I know what music is. Music is a great part of gem culture. Of course, I'm sure the music we have on Homeworld differs greatly to what you humans have here on Earth. Our music seems to be much more intricate than the music your little birds and insects can create. Being a music lover yourself, you felt a great need to break it down for Blue Diamond. You explained that the music on Earth was definitely not just made up of bird and bug noises, but that real music was a wide variety of different types and genres. Now this caught the gem's attention. She lowered herself a tad bit to properly meet your gaze. Oh? There are different kinds of music? How intriguing. I'm curious to know what exactly real Earth music sounds like. You thought for a moment of how you could properly show her what Earth music was. And then it hit you. Your cell phone. You quickly reached into your pocket and yanked it out, tapping quickly to get to the music player app that you had installed. Oh, isn't that your little portable communicator? A cellular phone, was it not? I'm trying to remember what Steven's Pearl had briefly told me about them when I saw Steven use one. Wait, why are you pulling it out anyway? You had chosen a random song for one of your playlists. The second you hit play, it was like something changed in blue. You could see something click in her eyes as she listened to the song that you had picked. Tears began to well up in her eyes as the song echoed in the air around you. You panicked and were about to ask her if she was okay, but her voice cut you off. This music, this song, is this what music is to humans? It sounds so, I don't know how to describe it. The melody feels so calming. Such a bouncy instrumental. It feels so inviting and pleasant. The lyrics, they feel so touching, like they're reaching out to my gem's very core. And the vocalist, I didn't know such voices existed. I've gotten so used to only hearing the same type of singing from gems back home, but this feels so incredible. You certainly didn't expect that reaction. You didn't realize that something like this would hit the blue-hued gem in such a way. You were glad that she seemed to enjoy the music, though you still felt the need to ask her if she was okay. Blue wiped the tears from her eyes. A wide grin that you had never seen her have before stretched from ear to ear on her face. Yes, I'm all right, human, I promise. But that device of yours, if it can play music, can you play more? I must know what other forms of music there are, if they're anything like this remarkable piece. Wait, is that a list of different songs? Oh, stars, there are so many of them! So, for the next few hours, you and Blue listened to hundreds upon hundreds of different songs. Some of them you both enjoyed, some of them you both hated, and some of them you found so ridiculous you both couldn't help but laugh at them. It was honestly the most fun you had ever had with the Gem Woman since the day that you two met. At some point, your eyes had locked on the blue gem's face. Her eyes closed and expression locked in a content trance as she listened. The current song you were listening to was rather pumpy, like the kind of music you'd play at a party. It seemed to have Blue's interest, despite it sounding rather bland in your opinion. Pardon me, human, but what is dancing? The song mentions it quite frequently, and that is something that we don't have on Homeworld. At least, I don't believe we do. Would you mind explaining the concept of dance to me? You did your best to explain to Blue what dancing was, and how it usually differs from song to song. I see. How odd. But it seems like it would be fun. It most definitely sounds like something Pink would have taken part in. I wonder what it'd be like to do such a thing. For a moment you were tempted to show her by getting up and dancing with her, but decided against it, as the song was too upbeat for your taste, and her stature combined with the dancing would be too loud, so to speak. But as if reading your mind, the current song ended, and in its place, a much older, much softer and slower-paced song began to play on your phone. Moon River, an old favorite of yours. And it seemed to pique Blue's interest as well. Suddenly, an idea hits you as the song plays. A rather risky and dumb idea given the circumstances. But the mood seemed right, and you figured... But the mood seemed right. And you figured it was worth asking, right? She wanted to try out dancing, and this song seemed appropriate for a beginner. So, might as well try. But then the issue of Blue's size came to mind. How would a slow dance even work between us, you thought? And then remembered something the gem had told you a few weeks prior. Something about gems being able to shapeshift? She brought this up seeing a couple of gems in town messing around with their forms via shapeshifting. Would she be able to do that too? She was a gem, so why couldn't she? And if so, would she be able to shapeshift to a smaller height? You stood up, the sound catching Blue's attention. Looking up to meet her gaze, you boldly asked her if she could shapeshift. Now this obviously caught her off guard. What kind of a question is that, human? Of course I can shapeshift. Though it's not something I normally do. I don't think I've ever felt the need to do something like alter my form by shapeshifting. But I digress. Why do you ask, human? That was quite an out-of-place question. You finally ask her if she would be willing to shapeshift down to your height. She was silent for a moment, causing you to grow paranoid that you might have offended her. But your eyes widened as her body suddenly began to glow. A bright light surrounding her figure as she begins to shrink. You felt yourself choke on air as the glowing ceased. As Blue's figure was now only a couple heads taller than you. She fidgeted. Her cheeks were stained a darker shade of blue than normal. Was she blushing? You should know that that I don't normally agree to such preposterous requests, especially from organics. However, I suppose if I am trying new earthly experiences, I might as well try something new like shapeshifting. It's a very odd feeling, but not exactly unpleasant. Anyways, human, what exactly did you want me to shapeshift down to your height for? You cut the gem's words off, as you held your hand out to the former giantess of a woman, and asked her if she'd like to dance. She gasped, obviously not expecting such a question. You half expected her to either laugh at you or scoff at the idea. But she didn't. Instead, her cheeks grew darker, as she hesitantly took your hand in hers, mumbling out a small yes under her breath. Gulping, you pulled her slightly taller figure closer to your body, hers seemingly like putty in your hands, as she let you do what you wished. As you began to sway to the soft instrumentals of the song, you found yourself drawn to Blue Diamond's eyes. Her sky-blue irises, with diamond-shaped pupils. They seemed to draw you in, as you became more confident in your movements. Blue didn't say anything. She just remained silent as she followed your movements, never breaking eye contact with you. You had never noticed it before, but she was very pretty looking. Not once did you imagine in your entire life that on the off chance you'd get to meet an alien life form, that she would end up meeting one who was just so beautiful. The words slipped from your lips seemingly unnoticed by you. Blue's eyes widened, and only then did it process in your mind what you just said. You could feel your face flush slightly, turning your gaze away hoping she didn't actually hear that. Of course, you weren't so lucky. What did you say, human? She leaned in closer to you, her forehead now pressed against yours, causing your face to burn a brighter shade of red. Your eyes gazed into Blue's, your eyes not missing the way the sunlight shone against her figure, as if creating a spotlight. No, a halo on her, to showcase her otherworldly beauty. Wait, sunlight? Without realizing it, Moon River had ended, and in its place, a much louder, upbeat tune begins to blast from your phone speakers. You scramble away from Blue into your phone to turn it off. All the while, Blue bursts out laughing, a sound that immediately catches your attention as soon as the phone playing the obnoxious new song is shut off. This wasn't a mere chuckle or giggle. This was full-blown, uncontrollable laughter. And before you knew it, you couldn't stop yourself from joining in on the laughter. The two of you laughing like madmen in the middle of the woods, under the now morning light.
Oh, my stars. That was too much. If there was any way to tarnish a good, delightful setting, it would be that. Oh, goodness. That was a good laugh. I haven't laughed like that in thousands of years. It seemed that we were so caught up in our own little world we didn't realize that the sun had come up.
Time really flies when you're having a good time, you chuckle, finally calming down from your own laughter session. You and Blue relax for a moment, taking in the pink and blue colors up in the early morning sky in peaceful silence. Though the silence is short-lived, by Blue taking your hand in hers, a faint blush on her cheeks, the sight of which brings color to your cheeks as well. Say, human, if you do not mind it, I really liked dancing with you, so I was wondering if you wouldn't be opposed to wanting to do it again? After that, the two of you danced and danced until dawn turned to noon, and the whole time, no music was needed to make this dance feel any more special between the two of you than it already was.